Now that Jacob and Emily have learned all about puberty, let's check back in with them and see what they are going to learn next about hormones in the reproductive system. It's just about time for their class field trip to the Human Body Museum, and after those talks with their older siblings, Jacob and Emily's heads are reeling with tons of questions about the reproductive system and how hormones work. Fortunately for them, this trip to the Human Body Museum today might just be able to answer their questions. Let's tune in. It sounds like Jacob, Emily, and their classmates are about to learn some incredible new stuff. Good morning, class. It's so great to see you all here today at the Human Body Museum. We sure are thrilled to have you here with us. Now, I know you all must have tons of questions, so why don't we get started? First in our lineup is a video on hormones, so listen up. You'll want to hear this. Now that you've learned all about the changes that happen during puberty, let's talk about the mechanisms behind those changes. Hormones are chemicals produced by our body that travel through our bloodstream. They are like messengers that communicate from one organ to the other. The organs that release hormones are called endocrine glands. For example, the adrenal glands can send hormones to the bloodstream to communicate with the heart, to tell it to slow down or speed up. In puberty, we often call these specific hormones sex hormones. The sex hormone that is in charge of puberty in females is called estrogen, which is released from the ovaries. In males, the sex hormone is called testosterone and it is released from the testes. The sex hormones are directly responsible for the physical changes that happen during puberty, as they tell different parts of the body to grow and change. They also affect the way we feel and behave, although we're not completely sure why. To understand more about the changes that hormones cause, it is helpful to learn about the reproductive system. Wow! Now that was sure an informative video, wasn't it, class? I know you all probably have a ton of questions still, so why don't we get started on our tour through the museum? Let's do it! Now that Jacob and Emily have learned all about hormones, let's see what they're going to learn next. It looks like Jacob has stumbled upon something fascinating. Let's check back in to see what he's up to.
Whoa, what a cool exhibit. I wonder what this button does.
Hello there, welcome to the Interactive Male Reproductive System exhibit. Today we are going to learn all about the male reproductive system. Here's how it's going to work. You ask me a question and I'll give you an answer. Capiche?
Capiche.
Great, let's get started then. One of the major physiological changes that occurs in males during puberty is their ability to impregnate a woman, as determined by their increased capacity to produce sperm. The organs that produce sperm cells are the testes or testicles. The two testicles sit in a pouch of the skin called the scrotum, located on the outside of the body.
So how much sperm exactly can be produced in one day?
The testes produce about 200 million sperm cells every day. They can survive for up to 5 days in a woman's body, but they can only live for a few hours in semen outside of the body, as they die as soon as they are dry.
Wait, so how exactly does sperm impregnate a woman?
Sperm cells travel from the testes through the seminal vesicles and down into the penis. Along the way, the prostate gland adds a milky fluid to help the sperm travel more easily, forming semen. The penis, usually soft, becomes firm during sexual excitement and it fills with blood. During ejaculation, the semen travels through a tube in the penis and is released or ejaculated from the body. Wow, it sure does seem like Jacob is learning a lot. Meanwhile, it looks like Emily has discovered something interesting as well. Let's tune in to see what she is going to learn about next.
Wow, this looks pretty interesting. I wonder what this button does.
Hello there, welcome to the Interactive Female Reproductive System exhibit. Today we are going to learn all about the female reproductive system. Here's how it's going to work. You ask me a question and I'll give you an answer. Got it?
Got it.
Great, let's begin.
Okay, so I was wondering, how is it exactly that males and females are different?
How are males and females different? Well, that question is way too hard to answer in a nutshell. Men and women are different in a variety of ways. However, in terms of puberty and reproduction, one major difference between the sexes is the difference between sperm and egg production. While males experience an increase in their ability to produce sperm upon puberty, a female does not experience an increase in this ability.
Wait, hold up. What exactly do you mean by that?
Okay, I see that I may be moving a bit too fast. Let's start at the beginning. Females have two ovaries, one on each side. The ovaries are where egg cells, or ovum for singular and ova for plural, are made and stored. Females are born with almost all the ova they have during their lifetime. In other words, no or very few new ova are produced after birth. This is very different from sperm production.
Okay, I think I get it now. So egg production definitely sounds quite different from sperm production. Does that mean a woman's eggs are fully developed from birth?
That's a good guess, however, it is actually incorrect. On the contrary, the eggs in the ovaries are mostly immature. It takes specific hormones such as estrogen to cause them to mature. As a general rule, one egg matures each month and is discharged from the body during the menstrual period.
Menstrual period? Is that the same thing as menstruation?
Yes, here is a chart of the menstrual cycle and the levels of the major hormones involved in the process. As you can see, the four major hormones are 1. Estrogen, 2. Progesterone, 3. Follicular stimulating hormone, and 4. Luteinizing hormone. The menstrual period typically happens over a 21 to 28 day cycle, with ovulation or release of the ovum typically occurring approximately halfway through the cycle. After ovulation, progesterone triggers a dramatic thickening of the uterus lining, also called endometrium, preparing and nourishing the endometrial layer for implantation of the fertilized egg, should fertilization occur. However, if the egg is not fertilized, both the egg and the endometrial layer will be discharged from the body during what is often referred to as one's period. The cycle then begins all over again until a woman has reached menopause, the point at which all of a woman's eggs have been released or discharged.
Wow, that's a ton of information. I didn't realize there's so much to know about the female reproductive system.
You think you learned a lot? Just wait till you get a hold of what I learned today. The male reproductive system is quite intricate and interesting as well.
I bet. I'm so glad we were able to take a trip to the Human Body Museum today. The exhibit was totally worth it, and we definitely learned a lot.
I agree. Now that we have learned a lot about hormones in the reproductive system, I think we have a better idea of how our bodies work and what it means to grow up. Our bodies will change quite a lot, and so will we, but at least now we know what to expect.
Jacob and Emily, it's time to move on to the next exhibit. Let's get moving. Now that Jacob and Emily have learned all about hormones in the reproductive system, they are not only more informed about their own bodies, but ready and geared up to learn more about pregnancy, sex, and relationships. To find out what they are going to learn next, tune in next time.